Like I said before, like Dave was always pushing me, like, play harder, play faster, let's go, come on. Like he would turn around and scream at me in the middle of a set, like, faster, harder. Like he was mental. Like it was just never fast enough, never hard enough. And it was great because it taught me to think on my feet and it got my dynamics really crazy. And we're running around the pool area. We're drinking, you know, being loud and being obnoxious. And like a bunch of us jump in the hot tub and I slipped and I broke my toe. And I had to finish the tour with a broken toe, which consisted of me getting around with a bunch of bubble wrap and duct tape wrapped around my foot. It was so punk rock. Like, you know, I couldn't afford to go to the hospital, you know, and it's not like you can do anything for a broken toe anyways. You know, so like I have pictures of me somewhere like at Heavy Rebel with this giant roll of bubble wrap around my foot, and then everybody signed it. Everybody signed it with a Sharpie. It was just so random. But that was Heavy Rebel. Just like so hey, like, you know, you were there. It was nuts. Those are crazy times. I miss that. That was so much fun.
Like actually I just spoke to Dave, and I think that we might end up hearing from him on the show.
Who's that?
David Quick. I just spoke to him, and yeah, I guess we're going to have to keep our ear to the ground for that one, because I want to know how it all came to be, because just 3 days of just some of the best, just the amount of music that you would get to see. And the level, but the level of talent that every band was, that was the thing, is you knew that you weren't going to see a single underwhelming act.
Yes. Yeah, it was such a time. Like, and you're absolutely right. And there was bands on the main stage, bands down in the basement, bands playing all over the venue. And it's like everyone you went to go see was spectacular. They were all amazing, and everybody was dancing and sweating and just so great.
One of my favorite things about it would be the stairs going from the upstairs to the downstairs, and who you would pass every time. You'd always wonder who it would be, because like 75% of the people there, and then the 25% you don't. You know by the end of the weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Like everybody was friends by the time the weekend was over. It was very cool. That was another thing I really liked about that festival too, is that, you know, in the music industry, no matter what genre, there's ego, you know, and there's like bands that hate other bands for whatever reason, just stupid drama bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
But at Heavy Rebel, it was like everybody was one big family.
Yeah.
There was no bullshit. There was no ego. It was just everybody having a great time together. It was so rad. I loved those festivals.
And the after party jams, I think, are some of my favorite memories of everything, because there would be musicians who played all these different styles, and we would just be in the same room, like playing like a Johnny Cash song, all of us.
Right.
Like, just simple, you know, nothing like no jam busters, but just fun,
and camaraderie, and
like one of the most just amazing things that somebody could create. Dave was like, yeah, let's just make 3 days of where every weirdo on the East Coast can come and be a weirdo.
Yep. I remember like outside of the venue in Winston-Salem, you know, like everybody would be walking around, and didn't they always have like a car show out in the street too with like vendors and everything? I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
I remember like, you know, like all the girls walking around their beautiful pink dresses with their little Betty Page bangs, and like all the guys with their pompadours and like their great outfits. And I just remember seeing like the civilians walking around looking at everybody going, where are we right now?
Like,
what is happening? Who are these people?
they're partially scared, but partially curious. They're like, wait,
Super intrigued. Yeah.
hold,
Super intrigued.
is that
Why are all
man
these boys
wearing
dressed up like Elvis? I don't understand.
is that man wearing a dog collar, Ethel? Get the camera. Get
Ethel.
the kids got to see this.
You know there's Ethels in Winston-Salem, South Carolina.
Yes, I know there's Ethels.
Definitely Ethels. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh my God.
It's funny. I was just going through. I had like a big box of stuff from when I was touring with Sasquatch and the Sickabillys, and I found so many funny things. And I actually found like a promo, like postcard flyer thing from Heavy Rebel 2005. I'm like, oh my God, it seems like a million years ago. It's so crazy. It's like a whole lifetime ago.
I mean, I imagine that, you guys made it all the way out to the West Coast, was there one particular venue that you remember that you were like, I'm never going to forget playing here?
So many.
Not like because it was fun and it was a kick-ass show, but because it was fucking weird.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of weird. It was when we did our very first US tour in 2005, we did like every one of the 48 states, and it was amazing. There was definitely a lot of venues we played at that didn't know what was coming. Like they didn't, they were just kind of like some of them, like I remember playing at like a bar in, I want to say Denver, Colorado, and it was kind of like a sports bar, and they had live music there, but like nothing like us,
Right,
And I remember we did a 3-hour set nonstop, and they're all the locals are sitting there like, what the fuck did I just watch?
What is happening in front of me right now?
What is happening? Yeah, but I mean, like for the 50 so locals that were in there, there was 3 people that were having like the time of their lives.
Yeah.
It was totally awesome. No regrets. But yeah, like specific venues though, Asbury Lanes in New Jersey was definitely one of my favorite.
I love that place.
I know you remember Asbury Lanes. I don't even know if it's even there anymore. Does it even exist? It was just such a wild venue, and how they would put the stage over like the 2 middle bowling lanes, and everybody would just dance in the bowling alleys, and it was like something out of a movie. It was so surreal thinking about it now, like how cool that place was. There was definitely venues in Austin that we played at that were very memorable and just wild and like super rowdy. And I mean, obviously Heavy Rebel has got to be on that list too. Like I remember like the first Heavy Rebel we did, I think we played in the basement. We hadn't even made it to the main stage yet. I think we were still kind of new. And I just remember being covered in Pabst Blue Ribbon by the end of our set.
Yeah.
And people were just shaking their beers up and spraying it on us. And there was just PBR cans flying everywhere. And they did that because they loved you, not because they didn't like you. Like if they didn't like you, they wouldn't even stay and watch you. Like it was just so much love and people just piling on each other. And it was super punk rock and gross and fantastic. It was such a good time.
And
yeah, we definitely played a lot of like real crazy wild venues. I definitely miss that.
I know that, and I mean, I just specifically, I remember that show down there, and like you said, watching just the power of the drums mixing with the bass and everything, and you just were whipping everybody into like a complete frenzy when you were playing in the, I don't know, earlier years of your life, and other local bands and stuff like that. Was just like metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
thrash,
a lot of metal, a lot
Motorhead,
of rock,
and that kind of thing.
What's that again?
I said like thrash, like Motorhead, that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. Like when growing up, it was Slayer, Iron Maiden, Anthrax, Suicidal Tendencies, the Misfits. Then I got into like more like death metal. I was really into Entombed and God, my mind is totally drawing a blank, but yeah, metal was my jam for sure.
Yeah.
And when I remember going to see Sasquatch and the Sickabillys for the first time, and they were they were absolutely like nothing I had ever experienced before. Like I was a big fan of rockabilly. I was aware of rockabilly, obviously, like just kind of surface stuff, like, you know, like Stray Cats and stuff like that is kind of what I knew of rockabilly at the time. And I went to go see them, and I remember like being so blown away because it was so powerful and so aggressive the way that they approached like that genre of music, and I thought it was so interesting and different. And the way that I got on Sasquatch's radar is that night their drummer broke one of the spurs on his bass drum, and his bass drum was running away from him the whole night. And I remember when I got there, I was pretty drunk. I'd already been like bouncing around to a bunch of different bars that night. And I took it upon myself to jump up on stage and hold his bass drum in place for him so he could finish the show. And I remember Johnny and Sasquatch, Dave, looking at me being like, who is this bitch? Like, thanks for holding the bass drum so we could finish our show. So after the show was over, you know, of course we all talked and everything. And, you know, I told them that I was a drummer, and I felt bad for their drummer because he couldn't finish the show. And when they were looking for a new drummer, he found a way to contact me and was like, hey, would you be interested in, you know, giving this a shot, coming to play for us? And that was it. And I think I was with them from 2004 to, I don't know, off and on between like 2008, 2009, something like that. I don't know, that whole patch of time is a little blurry, but those were some of the wildest days of my life. Like, but it was such a great experience, and I would not have traded that for the world. Like, even though like I was worried that playing rockabilly wouldn't fulfill my little heavy metal heart, like I could not have ended up in a better band, because I learned so much from Johnny and Sasquatch and the other members that came through the Sickabillys too. And it was a very molding, amazing experience playing with those guys. It was, whew, it was wild.
Yeah.
You know,
well, like,
you saw it. It was
well,
nuts.
yeah. Well, you was able to take your metal chops, but then you found your swing in there too.
Yeah.
You
That was really
like,
cool too.
Power swing is how I would describe how you played.
Nice. I like that. Power swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was neat trying to find a way to add that swing to, you know, like more of a metal chop kind of version of rockabilly drumming. Coming up, I had played in like a party band, like one of my first bands, and we played like a lot of Motown and a little bit of big band and swing. So I had experienced that kind of drumming when in my younger years. So it was really cool to be able to kind of like borrow from that and also like add metal and rock and roll chops to, you know, the Sickabillys material. And then all the while, and when we were playing live, like I said before, like Dave was always pushing me, like, play harder, play faster, let's go, come on. Like he would turn around and scream at me in the middle of the set, like, faster, harder. Like he was mental. Like it was just never fast enough, never hard enough. And it was great because it taught me to think on my feet, and it got my dynamics really crazy. And all in all, it just made me that much more of a better player and a better drummer. And also learned to be really good at dodging flying beer cans at my head while we were in the middle of playing, which is a special skill that I didn't realize I needed at the time.
Just
Interesting times.
It's a litmus test of appreciation is really what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes. So good.
If you walk off the stage at Heavy
Faux show.
Rebel dry, I mean, especially because if it's not from your own sweat, like beer, a combination of maybe somebody else's sweat, if you're lucky, vomit, you never know.
It was so fun. It was so much fun.
So you're playing in a pop band now? That's cool. Like what you know, obviously you have to use different dynamics than you have to playing metal and playing with Sasquatch. Do you just
Big
find
time.
that being able to learn to swing, playing with him, like really helped you into what you're doing now?
Big time. Yeah, for sure. Because the band I'm playing with now, it's called No Filter. Um, we are a cover band, which is something I never thought that I would do. But I got to tell you, like, the guys that I play with they're so talented and they're so professional. We have so much fun together. We could play polka and I would do it. Like, there's just so much fun to play with.
Right.
And it's a whole big production, this band. Like, it's Vegas level insanity. Like, we have like a huge video screen and a huge truss and all these lights, and like it's a whole show. We do this whole like trash can jam at the end of our set. It's a production. So this experience playing with these guys was very new to me, coming from a very like punk rock gritty background to kind of segueing into like a more polished pop, playing to a click, like very, very polished, but still very fun with a party atmosphere, if that makes any sense. But with these guys too, I was able again to like kind of pull from band experience that I've had in the past, playing Motown with my big brother's band when I was a kid, and playing rockabilly and swing with Sasquatch, and even playing metal. Like, I have opportunities to kind of like sneak that into the shows too. But this band was particularly challenging because my whole life has been playing as fast and as hard as you can. And now I have to train myself to control my dynamics, know to let the song breathe, learn the ebb and flow of like a pop ballad. And it's like you go into a pop band, you're like, okay, it's gonna be four on the floor, piece of cake. No, absolutely not. Like, you have to learn how to let the song breathe. You have to learn to play to the band. You have to learn when to pull back and let the guitar shine or the bass shine, or pull back on your dynamics so the vocals can really shine through. And so this has been a really wonderful learning experience for me playing with these guys. And I've been with them for 7 years now. It's gone by really fast. We've had so much fun. We've managed to build it into something pretty great, in my opinion. We actually franchised and started a second version of it ourselves with 4 new members back in 2019. And it's pretty cool because the guys that I play with all come from similar backgrounds like me. They come from completely different genres. Like, my bass player was a singer in a like hair metal band, and my guitar player grew up playing Morrissey and the Smiths, and everybody just kind of has like their own flavor that they bring to the table, which makes it, in my opinion, makes it very interesting. It's not just like getting up there and blindly playing, Take on Me by Aha. Like, everybody kind of puts their own vibe to it and their own flair, which I think makes it super interesting. So yes, I am playing in a cover band, and yes, I am extremely happy because it's been a very positive experience and I've learned a lot from these guys. So I realized that 14-year-old little punk rock me would be like, I can't believe you're playing in a cover band. You sold out. We said we would never do this. No, it's fantastic. And I would highly recommend it if you're looking to broaden your musical talents. It's harder than it looks.
Well, yeah, especially because when you are a drummer and there is a singer that you really have to support, not through volume and intensity, but because you have to just give them time to breathe, and let the music breathe. Right. And the entire band focuses 100% on making the vocals shine.
Right.
And it's being able to make sure the hi-hat or the ride is just as loud as the bass, and
true that. Yeah.
making sure that you stay in the pocket always 100%. I'm sure that was a big thing that you learned about when swinging is, pocket playing.
For sure. So I have a funny Sasquatch story.
Excellent.
A story that happened when I was in Sasquatch and the Sickabillys, because a couple of days ago, I think I told you I was going through a bunch of random memorabilia I had saved, like when I was touring with them. And one of my favorite stories, and it's not super scandalous, but we were playing up in Portland, Maine, and we had done this show with like 3 other bands, and there was burlesque dancers between the bands, and it was packed. It was a great night. It was really fun. And I remember it was the end of the night, and we were loading up the van. We were getting ready to go. And I realized I had left my cymbals inside the venue. So I ran back in there and everything was dark. And I saw like my cymbal case like sitting in the corner. So I ran over to grab it. You know, the guys are waiting for me outside. I'm trying to hurry up and go grab my cymbals. Because it was so dark in there, I didn't realize there was a cocktail table like right where my cymbal case was. And I bent down to go grab my cymbal case, and I went wham and smashed my face on this cocktail table. So I run into the bathroom, and I'm covered in blood. Like I had put my tooth through my bottom lip, bleeding profuse. And all of the, you know, the guys in the band are outside. They have no idea this happened, but all the burlesque dancers are in the room. They're all in the ladies' room, like taking their makeup off and ready to go home. And I'm covered in blood, and I burst into the bathroom. They're like, oh my God. They're like, what happened to you? Like, did somebody punch you? Like, these girls are ready to run outside and beat the shit out of somebody because they thought I got. And I'm trying to explain to them, like trying to hold my lip together and explain to them, like, no, I did this. Like, I smashed my face on a cocktail table. So yeah, bleeding profusely. I run outside. The girls are trying to explain to Sasquatch and Johnny what just happened. They had to rush me to a hotel in Portland, and I had to get a bunch of stitches in my face to put my lip back together. And the reason that made me think of it is because I found my bracelet from my I saved it. This was November 7th, 2004. I smashed my face on a cocktail table in Portland, Maine, and had to go get stitches.
Oh my God.
Rock and roll.
What was Sean Mencher at that show?
Sean Mencher was not at that show. Oh my God, that's so funny. But like not even like a cool, like I got in a bar fight, you know, not even like a cool story like that. No, I smashed my own face on a table and busted my lip open. Like, oh my God. I just remember me, Sasquatch, and Johnny sitting in the waiting room at the Portland ER trying to hold my lip together before they could stitch me up. Oh,
man.
Good times, man.
Whoa.
I got a great scar from it too. Good scar.
It's I suppose it's a constant reminder of sorts.
Yep, for sure.
It's like,
but it was funny, you know, even despite the pain and the blood loss, it was really hilarious.
That's
because we're sitting in the waiting room trying to decide, okay, do we tell people the truth or do we make up some story that you got?
Make up a new one each night.
No, we just told everybody the truth. It was way funnier.
Just make up a new one each night. Like Scheherazade, just make up a new tale each night to entertain.
I know, we totally could have. We should have ran with that in retrospect. We could have made up some really great stories about how Natalie busted her face open.
We could have totally Arabian Nights this and we missed out. Oh.
Oh yeah, that was a missed opportunity. You're totally right. But yeah, I laughed so hard when I was going through my box of stuff, and I was like, is that a hospital bracelet? I'm like, what is that? And I was like, oh, I remember what that's from. Oh, it's hilarious. Emergency room. 2004. My God, that's crazy. We now know people that were born in that year.
Yeah. I'm probably
nuts.
I'm certain that I'm sure that, you know, there were several conceived after the show was over watching y'all play. That's personally how I feel.
We can only hope.
Natalie is 3/4 responsible for being your parent.
What greater compliment? Our show was conceived after one of your shows. I would be very happy to hear that. That would make me very happy. It's the ultimate compliment. We see crazy stuff like that down here in Florida because, you know, the majority of the people that come to our shows are on vacation, which is great because, you know, playing up north, like, you know, I spent a lot of time in New England and New York, and like a lot of the times at your shows, you know, you get like the majority of the people are kind of just standing there with their arms folded, kind of like impress me, you know, like that's a big thing out there. Down here, people come to see live music because they want to fucking party. They're on vacation, they want to let loose. So you've automatically got a wild audience at every show, which is great. But when I tell you the amount of people I've seen banging from the stage, and it's never the people that you want to see have sex. It's
No,
yeah,
no.
it's Florida, man.
It's
Florida.
yeah, it's like Sheriff Buford T. Justice and like Vicki Lawrence's stunt double and from Mama's Family.
That is so good. That is a reference that a very small audience is going to understand, and I'm here for it. I applaud you, sir. I applaud you. That was very good. Nicely done. Nicely executed. Oh, I love this conversation so much.
Oh yeah. Well, this is why people listen.
I totally get it. I totally get it. It's so good.
It's a small but mighty crowd. We're growing.
Small but mighty crowd. I'll take small and mighty crowd any day.
It's truly quality over quantity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just getting to chat with real peeps, and then, cool people hear it and they subscribe, and, we get to hear stories
It's a beautiful
from
thing.
real road G's.
Yes.
If you have any plugs or websites or addresses, now's the time, Natalie.
Okay. Well, my personal Instagram is at Natalie Mustang, and if anybody wants to check out my band, it's at No Filter Band on Instagram. We play all over the place. If everybody wants to come out and get down to some Bruno Mars, I'm your girl. No, seriously, like this is like one of the most fun bands I've ever been in my entire life. I absolutely love them. They're the best.
I just imagine that each gig is going to be like, what's going to happen tonight?
For sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah. The beach scene down here is wild. It's colorful. It's never dull. And it's kind of crazy because like our busy season is the winter time, because that's when everybody comes down here. So from like Labor Day weekend till like Memorial Day weekend, it's insane. Like right now, it's crazy. Like we're gigging like crazy right now because this is our season. And like I said, people come down here to get loose, and they. Whew,
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the party crowd. Florida's getting a little crazy, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's still good.
We'll
the
see what
vibes down
happens.
here are awesome, and everybody's very happy, and
Yeah.
it's a good spot to live, despite all the bad press Florida gets. It's pretty awesome down here.
I know, it's good and warm. And
That it is.
every time that I drive over that Key West bridge and I see the water go from green to purple.
Yep.
That's my favorite part of Florida by far.
Oh, it's gorgeous down there.
Last time I went through there, it was right after a hurricane, and they were still cleaning up.
Oh,
Yeah, so
which hurricane was it? Do you remember?
see, it's funny because I used to forecast hurricanes for a living when I was in the Navy, but after I got out of
Oh my God.
yeah, I used to give Sasquatch weather reports constantly. Like
Oh my
if there was
God.
tornado,
Skip, this is totally coming back to me now.
yeah,
This is totally coming back. That is so funny.
yeah,
That's right, because he was always weather obsessed and you were his boy. You were his main line into like what was going on with the weather. Oh my God, that just came back to me. That's so funny.
yeah. I totally
You
did
helped
weather.
us plan tours. You have no idea.
Yeah, I let them know.
So nuts.
I let them know if there was some things going on. But after I got out doing weather, I totally forgot names of hurricanes because it was kind of my job to remember them. So
I get it.
unfortunately, it slips my mind, the one that was in Key West. However,
It could have been one of hundreds. I mean, they have hurricanes down here all the time.
Yeah, I know that. Like I said, you come over the big bridge and it just looked like people just took matchsticks and went.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep. They get so hard down there.
It's absolutely crazy, but they got it cleaned up real quick, and they're back to
Yeah. Oh, they're pros at that.
Yeah.
They are pros.
They're back to rocking and rolling, and I got to visit Hemingway's favorite joint when he was down there.
I've been there. That place is so cool. It's so cool.
That tiki bar.
We do like week-long residencies down there at this place called Sloppy Joe's.
Yeah.
It's
I
right
saw
on,
that.
you know that place is right on Duval Street? Like we'll play there for 7 nights in a row. And like, dude, when I tell you by like day 4, like your liver is pulsing because like people are just feeding you shots and feeding you drinks.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. They put you up in like, there's like a band house that we stay in when we're down there. And it's just 7 days of, it's insane.
Band
it's a lot
house.
of fun.
Yeah, that's those were always two dangerous words on tour because either it was going to be amazing or it was going to be like, oh no,
Oh, I'm gonna die.
am I going to wake up as a lampshade?
Exactly.
I just want to play rock and roll.
Oh, I got so many stories about that place down there. It's so awesome.
that
But yeah, Key West is very interesting because it's I feel like the majority of the locals down there are people that they're just like the island of misfit toys. They're like people that have no interest in being a part of the rat race and they move to Key West and they just, you know, make their living giving scuba diving lessons or, you know, chartering a fishing boat. And they're just the coolest, most interesting people that live there.
They're across
Just
from.
all off the grid.
I think it's across from the Hemingway joint. There's a tiki bar down there that is like one of the best ones that I've encountered in that portion of America. I'll never forget it. Yeah,
that is.
I mean it was absolutely legit, and the drinks were amazing too. It's like it was diagonal.
Sure.
It was diagonal from the nudie clothes optional bar.
Oh, Garden. Yeah, that's Garden of Eden.
Yeah, diagonal from it is the tiki bar.
Trying to remember the name of the tiki bar. I know exactly where you're talking about on Duval Street too.
Yeah, amazing drinks. I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so much fun down there. It's really cool. Yeah, we're doing another week down there in August. We're doing another week residency down there. It's really fun. It gets pretty wild.
August. That's a hot time to be playing outdoors. Woo!
It's gonna be so gross.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what we signed up for by living here. It's just part of life.
Yeah, I remember those tour days playing, and you know, you do like Florida, then Mississippi, and then Louisiana, all during August, and oh man, road G's, right? Road G's.
Yep. Yeah, the last time I was down there, when we were doing a residency at Sloppy Joe's, the Red Elvises came through.
Oh yeah.
And they were playing at one of the venues down there. So we got to go see the Red Elvises while we were in town. And they were freaking amazing. They were so much fun. They had this girl, Emily, playing drums for them. She was so good. It was just really cool to see them in this like cute little beach bar. And
Yeah,
like it was
yeah. But, I mean, they kill, so anybody
sure.
that's watching is going to be entertained. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
people that hire Horton Heat, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're into rockabilly or not, you're going to party.
Yes, that is an accurate statement. Oh, I miss seeing those guys. I love that band.
And the Kings of Nothing too. That was another one that I was just talking earlier with Matt and Bobcat on a podcast.
Oh,
on a podcast.
that Golpa?
Yeah. They're the episode.
Are you serious?
They're the episode before you. They're
Get out of here! And Bobcat too. That's awesome.
yeah. They're.
I love those guys.
They're going to be opening for the Meteors, and they wanted to promote it. And
That's awesome.
yeah, not too bad. So
Good for them.
the heavy rebel community, one story at a time.
Right? It still lives. So Matt Goldpaw was in. This was right before COVID hit. Him and Laura Hope were down here. They were doing like a little mini tour. And there's this guy that runs like a Comfort Inn in St. Petersburg, down here in Florida, and he opens up. This is so cool. He opens up the lobby of this hotel to bands on tour, to just come in and play in the lobby of the hotel for like tips or whatever. So Matt and Laura were playing in the lobby of this hotel right down the street from my house, and he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I think you live near this hotel where we're going to be playing." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, you're doing what? You're playing in the lobby of where?" And I went there, and it was amazing. It was like 3 different acts played, and people came out, and they all were just kind of like chilling and drinking coffee and watching these phenomenal musicians play in the lobby of this little hotel. It was the coolest thing. And then, so that was the last time I got to see Matt. It was really, really neat experience, just like super random right down the street from where I live.
Yeah, we had a great chat. Like I said, I'm sure that by the time that you listen to this, that episode will be up. So that'll be a blast.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. I love those guys. And Bobcat is just, God, what a phenomenal musician and phenomenal human. Like he's one of the best I've ever met.
It was a great one. Thank you so much for coming on. This was such a blast.
Oh my God, ditto. Like, it was so great to catch up with you and like talk about the old Heavy Rebel days and everything. I love this. Thank you so much. This means so much to me.
Oh, we're going to have to definitely do this again.
I would love that. Anytime. Love it.
Absolutely. You take care, Natalie.
Well, you too, buddy. Best of luck to you. Stay safe in Germany, and I'll talk to you soon.
All righty.
All right, homie. Take care. Talk to you later.
I'll see ya.
All right. That'll be all for today. Remember, peace, love throughout the world, and don't forget to rock and roll.